I keep seeing a lot of political commentators and uninformed individuals talk about how Black people, despite being 13% of the population, commit 50% of the crimes. However, that is actually far from the truth, and I think it is important to debunk that. But unfortunately, a lot of people frame it in a way that they're trying to make Black people appear to be more violent in order to justify racism and discrimination, as well as hate speech against Black people. But this statistics is actually not based on reality for the most part. But there are actually a lot of confounding variables because Black people are actually 8 times more likely to be arrested if a crime they did not commit. And you can find this study in many different sources. And according to many different estimates, 10% of people arrested are convicted of a crime they did not commit. And knowing that Black people do indeed make up a large section of this population changes the nature of the stat. Next is the documented over-policing of Black concentrated areas. Because Black areas are disproportionately more likely to be over-policed, this also means that Black people who do commit crimes are disproportionately more likely to be caught, which also influences the dataset in a way that is aside from the true crime rate. Taking these two factors into account is going to significantly shed light into the nature of these datas, and it does also significantly explain the overrepresentation. And the other thing is that, according to many studies, crime is more significantly correlated with poverty more than any other thing, including race. And unfortunately, due to historical disparities, Black concentrated areas are more likely to be subjugated to poverty, which naturally increases the crime rate in Black concentrated areas. And that's said the fact that the 30-50 stats is not even true, unless you're only looking at robbery. In fact, if we're broadening this scope to all crimes, Black people would make 29% of all the arrests. But knowing all these factors does indeed change the implication of the very misinformed stats that we oftentimes hear. It does also show how a lot of factors that are not specific or intrinsic to race influence the datasets. And correlation is not causation. And I think this is something that is important to bring light to.